So with banks in America closing down, what's the likelihood that Australian banks are going to collapse too? Now, first of all, it's very unlikely that this will happen, and I'll explain in this video why. So the big one in the US that started all of this is the Silicon Valley Bank, and that's an investment bank, which is kind of different than a regular bank. They do similar things, but the clientele is different. So with an investment bank, they're usually lending money to big businesses and corporations. So generally an investment bank isn't giving out small little credit cards to the average person. They're giving out big money to corporations and businesses. We're talking sometimes up to millions, even billions of dollars, and they have far less clientele. And a regular bank has hundreds of thousands of customers who have everyday transaction accounts, and the loan product that they're likely to get is ranging from personal loans, credit cards, up to mortgages. Small businesses also go to regular banks as well, but not so much investment banks. So the types of businesses and the loans that they give out are a lot different. If someone defaults on a loan in an investment bank, we're looking at millions of dollars in losses, whereas if someone defaults on a loan in a normal bank, they've got hundreds of thousands of customers to cover that, and we're usually only talking about maybe a couple of $100,000, if that. Often it's more likely to be a credit card than a housing loan. And of course, if it was a mortgage, the bank has the ability to actually seize the property and try and make its money back that way. Now, with the Silicon Bank specifically, they were mainly lending to big tech companies. And while I'm not going to pretend to know the exact reason why they collapsed, it probably has a lot to do with regulations, the mismanagement of the risk, and rising interest rates. Now, this has caused some panic in the US and it's caused a trickle-on effect, but the same isn't happening in Australia. And banks here in Australia are regulated completely differently to the US. But what if the worst happens? What happens if a bank does go under? Now, if we go all the way back to 2008, the global financial crisis, the government actually put protections in place to protect consumers' money. So if any financial institute in Australia failed, you're protected up to $250,000. That's for savings and investments. And for loans, credit cards, mortgages, what usually happens is it's transferred to another financial institution, and you just never know what the interest rate is going to be. But having said that, extremely unlikely given the protections we have in place put in by the government. But probably what is more of a concern is what's happening to the stock market. Everyone's in a panic right now. Now, it's not only the banks collapsing that's causing this, it's also fears of a recession, which is likely. It's also interest rates rising. But rest easy, the regulations that we have in place in Australia for our banking institutions, for all our financial institutions, means that it's very unlikely that any bank, a normal bank, an investment bank, is unlikely to follow in Silicon Valley Bank's footsteps and collapse. It's just extremely unlikely that it would happen here. So I hope this has helped calm you a bit, your fears about what might happen to Australian banks, and hopefully the rockiness in the stock market will stop soon. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.